Yes, indeed. It is part of the Big Fight Weekend podcast, and we've got special guests. Marquis Johns, senior writer, BigFightWeekend.com, is here because it is a new year, and we are ready for Garcia-Campbell Lightweight Showdown, Contender Showdown for a title shot on DAZN. Marquis, good to have you back on the podcast, my friend.
Absolutely, TJ. Great to be on. And it's great we have a new year and an actual intriguing matchup to kick off boxing for once in a long time. It's great to hear.
Yes, we are excited about that. We're excited that Todd Grisham is hanging out with us on the Big Fight Weekend podcast, ready to talk some boxing with us. Todd will be on the call with Sergio Mora and Chris Mannix of Ryan Garcia, Luke Campbell of England. They are fighting in Dallas, Texas. They say everything is bigger in Texas. You can't get much bigger than Grisham with us on the boxing podcast. How are you, brother?
Doing well. Thanks for the kind words. Hey, it's a little weird being in the bubble and people are like, do you feel comfortable? Listen, man. I'm blessed to be here. I'm excited about, like Marquis said, I mean, to kick off a 2021 boxing schedule like this is incredible because, as he knows, the boxing calendar usually takes a little while to get started. You know, it's kind of a slow time this time of year, but now it's full bore and we got a great one.
All right, so we'll get into that in a few moments. And again, for those that are only hearing us on the Big Fight Weekend podcast, come find the YouTube page of Big Fight Weekend, see what we look like on the video. Todd, by the way, for the record, does have an Atlanta Falcons hat on. You'll have to see it to believe it. He's showing it off right now as we speak. Marquis refuses to wear any of his Detroit Lions stuff after the humiliating weekend last weekend at the hands of the Buccaneers. But Todd, you were mentioning to us, you have been COVID tested. You're quarantined right now at the time that we're taping, getting ready for the press conference, the weigh-in all around New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and then the fight Saturday night, right?
Absolutely. So by the time this hits, you'll either know if I'm COVID negative or positive. So this may be the final interview I do as a COVID negative person. Fingers are crossed, man. It's very strange. I don't know about you guys, but everyone I talk to nowadays, either their brother has it or their cousin or their sister. So if I haven't had it already, I know it seems like it's just going to be a matter of time. I just hope it's not this weekend, man.
Yeah,
they could be on an off week, but I got nothing to do.
Yeah, stay safe for this weekend. That is for sure. Let's jump right in on this one with Ryan Garcia, up and coming, unbeaten. Luke Campbell from England, former amateur star, former medalist in the Olympics in 2016, and has gone on to big success as well as a professional. Size this one up. Marquis, you go first. What intrigues you just real quick about this fight? Go.
The one thing about this fight, TJ and Todd, that I'm looking forward to, and I'm Todd, you're probably as well, is that this is an actual test for Ryan Garcia. The past few fights he's been in has been against, the Forsacas. It's been Avery Sparrow before he got popped by the feds at Target. A lot of those are Robert Dunos. This is an actual matchup for Ryan, and depending on how he looks in this fight against Garcia, also it's a title eliminator. So winner of this gets a chance finally at Devin Haney, and these guys have been yelling at each other to fight each other for a long time now, and this finally gets to come to fruition with the winner of this fight Saturday night.
Yeah, we haven't seen Ryan Garcia since February, and Todd, I think this is an important point. That was a 1-round, minute-and-a-half fight, I believe. Were you on the call on that for the one punch? So I know it was impressive, but we haven't seen a lot of him to know what he looks like.
Well, that's what's so perplexing and so intriguing about this matchup. I mean, the last 4 fights, Ryan Garcia is 4-0 with 4 knockouts, a total of 9 rounds competed. I mean, he's just blowing people out of the water. So his last fight that he went to distance, I believe, was Carlos Molina, a fight that I called. And if you saw that fight, starting around 7 or 8, Garcia starts looking up at the clock. He starts freaking out a little bit, panicking because he hasn't knocked the guy out, and the guy's starting to land punches, and Ryan freaks out a little bit. And after that fight, he got a new trainer in Eddie Reynoso, who's supposed to work with him on his defense and all this stuff. So since that test, he hasn't been tested again. He's been knocking everybody out. So once it gets past the 5th or 6th round, is he going to revert back to, what do I do? Or is he going to now have a game plan and be able to show us that he's a 12-round fighter? We just don't know yet. And Luke Campbell certainly has the pedigree and the resume to test him and beat him.
Yeah, Campbell lost to Vasily Lomachenko in August a year ago now, as we're saying it, a year and a half ago, as we're now in 2021, as this podcast has debuted. So Marquis, again, kind of an unknown with Luke Campbell. He's been off for a year and a half because the pandemic is included in trying to get this fight made. How rusty do you think the Englishman might be here?
We'll know in the opening seconds, but the one thing that will keep Campbell in this fight is the fact that he's been battle tested for it. And that's the one thing that we're looking forward to seeing what it looks like against Garcia. The fight he had against Lomachenko, he hung in there for the most part. It's just that Lomachenko was just the better boxer. And one thing that happened over time with that Campbell fight, with Lomachenko fight with Campbell, was Lomachenko was able to find ways to use angles and break him down. I don't know if Garcia is going to be able to do the same thing that Lomachenko has, because there's only one Lomachenko, guys. So I'm looking to see how this is going to move with Garcia, how he steps up with this. But in terms of rust, TJ, it's going to be there. We'll just find out how fast he can shake it off.
Garcia could maybe take a page out of what Loma did, and that is go to the body, Todd Grisham, because he seemed to be effective. I'm channeling my inner Mickey from Rocky. The body, go to the body, Rock. He might try to go to the body. Did I do okay? Do you give me like a 7 on the impersonation, Grisham?
Probably not. Listen to me. Garcia, with that left hook, he doesn't care where he hits you. Obviously, he'd prefer, right in the temple, which has knocked out the last 2 opponents. But he's got such a quick, nasty left hook. He can go to the body a la Miguel Cotto. He can do whatever he wants with that hand. To me, what's going to happen when Luke's still standing there in rounds 6, 7, and 8? This guy won an Olympic gold medal. And if I'm his trainer, I'm telling him, listen, I don't care what happens the first 4 rounds, as long as you don't get knocked out. Lose all 4 of them for all I care. Stick, move, get out of the way, get Garcia frustrated, get him thinking, now what's my plan B? Because we don't know what plan B is for Ryan Garcia. But we know what it is for Campbell. He had some success against Lomachenko in those later rounds. And if he can have success against Lomachenko, he can have success against Garcia.
Voice of Todd Grisham of DAZN with us for a few more moments. It's the Big Fight Weekend podcast. Grisham is hanging out in Dallas. Big D's got everything going on this weekend. As we made reference to, they've got the Garcia-Campbell fight on Saturday night. Heck, they've got the college football playoff semifinal. Only in the bizarre end to 2020 and the beginning of 2021 is the Rose Bowl. The Rose Bowl that is always played in Pasadena, California, is being played where Todd Grisham is in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They had to move it. So the Rose Bowl is being played between Alabama and Notre Dame in Dallas-Fort Worth. And then again, the Cowboys are playing, but they're on the road at the Giants this weekend. So there's a ton of interest in and around Dallas, including the boxing for Saturday night. That is for sure. Hey, Marquis, one more on this fight. Teofimo Lopez is obviously the top guy now after he defeated Lomachenko. If Ryan Garcia is impressive, in your opinion, will we see him in front of Teofimo Lopez later in 2021? Will it be Haney first? Will it be Loma later? Lopez later in the year? Assess it for us. What do you think, Marquis?
I'm going to go with the benefit of the doubt and assuming that these sanctioning bodies are going to play ball here, guys, in 2021. So take this for what it's worth. I really think next we're going to get the Haney mandatory, which they sentenced TJ as I wrote for Big Fight Week, and they sentenced him to 2 mandatories for 2021 because Fortuna was waiting for him last year, and now the winner of this fight this year. So you're making Haney go for the gauntlet of actually earning his email belt, as we was joked about repeatedly and maliciously last year. So I think we get the Haney fight with that first, and then after that, we'll see who talks the most. I really think with Teofimo Lopez, we're going to get that mandatory out of the WBA out in Australia with George Kambosos first, anything else.
Well, I'll tell you this: if you listen to Ryan Garcia himself, and obviously most fighters don't pick who they fight next. He wants Tank Davis. That's who he wants. He thinks that'll be the most exciting fight. He sees holes in his game, and a lot of people see holes in Tank's game. Plus, he's got a pretty big following already. So that's the fight that Ryan Garcia wants if he wins. But as you guys mentioned, Teofimo Lopez is out there. Devin Haney is hosting the show with Kate Abdo on Saturday night. So it's like wrestling. You bring the guy that he's going to fight next. Yeah. So he will be there. And these guys have already faced off in the ring once. So if it's not going to be Tank Davis, I think it'll be Devin Haney or possibly maybe Teofimo Lopez.
I love how Grisham sticks that in. I don't think it's by coincidence that Devin Haney will be there as part of this show coming on Saturday night on DAZN. Okay, so I wanted to show this a little earlier again for those that are seeing us here as part of the YouTube page and the Big Fight Weekend podcast. We're showing here from DAZN Ryan Garcia's biggest moments. There he is in the ring. I mean, one more time, Todd, he's got the full package, the good looks, he's got the social media following, and he has scored some impressive big punch knockouts here. There is no doubt there is some buildup for what this young, talented, unbeaten California lightweight can do, that we're looking forward to seeing what he can or can't do with a veteran like Luke Campbell from England on Saturday night. There's a lot of flash and there's a lot of substance here, right, Todd?
Well, what he also has is cojones, because if you ask, I think that's the right word. If you ask anyone around Ryan Garcia, no one wanted him to fight Luke Campbell. They just didn't want him to. Same thing with Canelo Alvarez. I believe it was Austin Trout he fought in San Antonio. They're like, why are you fighting Austin Trout? He's not a big name. He doesn't have a big following. He's tricky. Same thing with Luke Campbell. You know, he's not a big name. He may be over in England. No one in America really knew who he was until this. He's a gold medalist. He's been the distance with Lomachenko, Miguel Vasquez. And Ryan Garcia is, 21 years old? This is not the fight anyone wants him to have if you're close to Ryan Garcia and are trying to protect him. But Ryan Garcia said, no, this is who I wanted. I want him. I want to fight him. And when I beat him, I want another top guy. No one in their right mind would have said, you're making a bad decision if he went, you know what, let me fight another couple of years, a couple more jabronis, beat a couple more guys, make money, build my name up even more. He's getting frustrated. He's ready to be a superstar, and he's got his chance.
I think that's well said on all of those fronts. We're looking forward to this one on Saturday night. Todd, you've been most gracious to hang with us. We're obviously going to continue on after you're gone here with more on this fight. Interesting. I will show this on the screen. Todd is obviously working the fight, so we're not going to get a prediction out of him because he's got to be down the middle on calling it, et cetera, with Campbell coming in from England. But interesting from mybookie.ag on this one that Garcia is minus 410 to win. And I'm interested, as we're showing this on the YouTube roundtable of Big Fight Weekend, interested that the under-over is 9.5 rounds. Marquis, I'll let you answer that. Does that surprise you that the under-over is that high on how many rounds this might go?
No, only because the line is factoring the fact that Campbell went the distance with Lomachenko. I really think this fight's going to go the distance, and I think that's why that number is so high in this as a whole.
All right, so fair enough on that. Again, our friends at mybookie.ag helping sponsor us. We'll see what happens. Todd Grisham, have a great call. Good luck in quarantine. We look forward to hearing and seeing you on the DAZN streaming service. Plug away again because you've got full undercard, everything going on. This is the perfect middle sandwich, if you will, the meat to the sandwich. We got the college football Friday, depending on when they're hearing us. The boxing goes big Saturday night, and then the NFL Sunday, but promote away on what we're seeing on DAZN.
Keep in mind also the Ryan Garcia fight's going to be earlier in the night. I think the main event's going to start around 5 o'clock. So it's a late Saturday afternoon matinee, which I think is great because then you can focus on what other NBA, NFL that night. So it's a great time to have the fight. It's going to be in prime time over in the UK. DAZN is global now. And not to sound like a salesman, but you guys love the sport of boxing. And the one thing I think that has kept it from being what it was or from getting back to what it was is the price point. I mean, it's almost become a badge of honor. Like Teofimo Lopez is like, I'm the new pay-per-view king. Why is that so great? Why is that such a great thing? Because now only 400,000 people can you watch it? And yes, DAZN is a pay service. I get it. But for $100, you get the whole year. You're paying, what, $8 a month? And you're getting Canelo Alvarez fights. You're getting, in the same month, you're getting Anthony Joshua fighting for the world title. You're getting Canelo Alvarez. You're getting Ryan Garcia. We're supposed to have Kovalev later this month. We'll see if that fight takes place because of COVID issues. We got maybe Canelo back in February. I'm sounding like a shill. I get it. But I think it's important that boxing fans realize the special thing they have right here, and they jump on it and tell their friends, and let's make this thing big, and let's bring back boxing.
If you're going to be a shill, you might as well do it from a hotel room in Dallas before you call the fight. That's what I've always said. Todd Grisham of DAZN.
Somebody's got to pay for the room service.
Exactly. Todd Grisham of DAZN. Be safe. Good luck with the call Saturday night of Garcia-Campbell coming on DAZN. And we thank you for popping back on the Big Fight Weekend podcast with Marquis and me. Thank you, my friend.
All right, brother.